We Could Have Tea Together, Chapter 4. A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction written and narrated by Mira Rose. Artwork by Yuki on Pixiv. You can find a link to Yuki's Pixiv in the description box below. If you haven't already, you can also find parts 1 through 3 for you to enjoy, links in description box. Now then, if you are still listening, thank you for coming back and comment Frozen Raspberry. Please enjoy We Could Have Tea Together, Chapter 4. Marinette Dupang Chang, 24 years of age. Marinette should know better than to be surprised when Kat showed up on her boutique's doorstep with a pitcher of already made iced tea. "A frozen raspberry," Kat said, holding up the pitcher with a rouge-tinted drink inside before she could greet him, but the door chime welcomed him inside regardless. "Is it tea time?" she asked, holding it open for him, then retreating to her paperwork when he came inside. "With you, princess? It's always tea time." "I am not that rich with time." She raised an eyebrow at him. "But I'll let you mess up my budget." "Darling, you knew I wanted a second date, did you not?" "Oh?" The banter tickled her heart. "You did?" "As you said, you aren't time rich." He placed a hand on his chest as he set the pitcher down. "So I brought the date to you." "Oh dear, and to think I didn't wear foundation today." They exchanged a round of light-hearted laughs, and Marinette was already drunk on the atmosphere. Oops. Who knew she'd fall for this man all over again in less than a week? "This rouge is the only one you need," Kat said, jutting his chin at the pitcher. "You and your silver tongue." She picked it up, then stepped toward the kitchen to grab 2 cups. "Shall we use the patio today?" "A patio?" He followed her out to the yard that was barely large enough to be a big dog's puppy pee pad, but she had a small table, a patch of grass, and lots of potted flowers staged for photos as needed. It was pleasant, despite the boxed-in feeling. "A luxury for this area of town," Kat said, sitting next to her. "When I got the place, the roof of this part had caved in, so I tore it off and switched the outlets for outdoor use." "Concrete under dirt?" "You got it." "You're a terribly handy person, you know that?" "I like earning compliments." She shot him a smirk, and he laughed. "Is this up to code?" "Don't tell the city." His jaw dropped, but it looked like awe. "Marinette Dupang Chang," he half scolded. "I've got friends in high places." "Oh, really? Like who?" He leaned in, and she could tell he wanted her to talk about him. Hesitating a moment, Marinette poured the iced tea into their cups, perhaps for dramatic effect, or maybe to work up courage for a bad idea. "Ladybug." She slid her gaze from the rouge, sweet yet tart-smelling frozen raspberry tea, to his etched face, carefully posed like he hadn't just gotten the first hint of his spotted hunt in years. "Oh, Ladybug, is it?" As strong as his face was, his fingers trembled around his cup, small rings bouncing across the tea's surface. "Who better to do me a favor?" This was uncharted territory. "Do you know where she is?" His voice held tight, like he was trying to keep the conversation light. "Would you like to meet her?" From the way he squeezed the cup, it was likely to break. "You tease me. little lady. I'm in earnest, Cat Noir. He sucked air through his teeth instead of tea. How? The way he said it, nearly a cry, all but broke her heart. Marinette had to look away, fixating her gaze on the lemon tree instead. What would you do if Ladybug came back? Cat held the silence with her, his gaze following hers. Are you playing games, Marinette? As I said, I'm in earnest. How? He took a breath, exhaling through his nose. Why you? Why do I get to know how to contact Ladybug? Yeah. She heard the wrinkle in his voice, and it crumpled her chest. It's been years. She wants to see you too, Cat Noir. Marinette knew better than to look as her partner withdrew into himself, curled like an injured stray while gasping for air, or help, or both. But she couldn't so much as allow herself to rub his back. She couldn't begin to imagine what the last minute felt like to him. The tea in her glass tasted far more tart than her first sip, but there was still a sweetness to it. When she finished her cup, instead of reaching for the pitcher, she reached across the table and held Cat's hand. After a few moments, he held it back. I mean this in the best way. Cat coughed, his voice tight and hoarse with pain. But why? Why you? Why not? He shook, and she rubbed her thumb over his knuckles. 2 words, an apology, sat on her tongue, but she knew it'd be a dagger for both of them, so instead she sat, quiet, as her partner broke down beside her. The least she could do was let him feel the moment uninterrupted. Despite his tears and sniffles, Cat hadn't let a sob escape his traitorous body as it shook. No, the closest he got to loud was sucking in snot before reaching up to pluck a leaf and blow into it like a handkerchief. Elegant, Marinette teased, but her voice didn't match. It was soft, like talking to a wounded animal. Don't worry, I won't wipe my eyes with it. Oh, Cat. She reached across her body with her free hand, shifting her weight, and brushed a thumb against his upper cheek, smearing away the salt water. You sure? His attempt to hide a sniffle was in vain. She'll be here as soon as tomorrow, if you'd like. Yeah. His voice cracked, and so did her heart. Yeah, I'll make sure there's a warm pot of tea, too. Cat chuckled, but the tremor made it more of a gasp. Okay. Come on, the tea's not getting any warmer. It was his turn to use his free hand to wipe tears out of his eyes. Yeah, sorry. Nothing to apologize for. A grown man broke down in front of you in your pseudo-garden. Cat Noir, you can cry by my side anytime you'd like. The words struck her, even though she's the one who said them. He said he'd do just that yesterday, didn't he? Cry if he got to see Ladybug again. Oh, how she'd hurt him, and for what? Ladybug couldn't remember. Marinette couldn't remember. Then again, it'd been so long, Marinette didn't feel like a ladybug anymore. Thank you, Marinette. Cat's face, weary from tears, retained a kind of glow she hadn't seen in a long time but couldn't quite describe. "Don't thank me," she replied. The spiders crawling up her sternum wouldn't leave her be, their nest of webbing in her stomach sticking to every word she tried to utter. "I'm just the messenger." "Oh, Marinette." His chuckle was dry and hoarse. "In my eyes, you are a blessing and a goddess." A spider crawled into her throat, leaving her unable to speak unless she vomited all the sticky webs of truths and deceit inside of her. If it were like this, then how could she face him come tomorrow? She'd asked him, over and over, what he would do if he could meet Ladybug again, but she hadn't asked the same thing of herself. How would she act as Ladybug if she came face to face with her beloved cat Noir? Oh, she might start crying now. No, not yet. After, with Tiki. She could cry then, although she wasn't quite sure what she'd be crying for, actually. "Drink up," she croaked. "You must be dehydrated by now." He chuckled, squeezed her hand a few times, then reached for his cup, not letting go even as he drank, set the cup down, refilled his and hers, then drank again. There wasn't much of a breeze in this makeshift garden pit, but still, the sound of the outside world caressed her like an old friend. "What time tomorrow?" Cat asked after draining another cup. "Get here by 10. "Do you—" He turned to look at her. "Should I bring flowers?" "What, are you going to propose?" His cheeks darkened. "I'm not crazy," he muttered. "You're the treat cat. You don't need to bring anything to compensate for yourself." His face wrinkled into a smile and, though faint, she could make out one of his dimples. "You're sweet, Marinette." "Ladybug was a fool for passing up a man like you." "Yeah?" His glance caught her heartbeat. "So I should bring flowers and propose to you instead?" She laughed, untwining their fingers to press a soft shove to his shoulder. "You're so bad." Their soft laughter bounced from wall to wall, lost as it traveled to the sky. Oh, to think she was all but breaking her own heart a few moments before. "Tomorrow at 10? He double-checked. "Tomorrow at 10, she confirmed. "Good. Now that that's out of the way," Cat reached over and topped off her cup. "We'd best enjoy this before it gets too cold." She laughed at the joke and took a sip of the frozen raspberry tea. Truthfully, it smelled better than it tasted. Sweet and tart and a bit of home all mixed into one, but it was the kind of fruit tisane that would do well with a spoonful of sugar. Or Cat Noir. She could enjoy it straight if Cat Noir was beside her. "Oh, Marinette, you've done it again. You've once more fallen for your partner. What if, after tomorrow, he leaves and you won't be able to share this now sacred tea time together like this?" No. She shook the doubt out of her head. Ladybug had nothing to do with how Cat treated her over the past few days. He didn't even know she was his ticket to seeing her, much less knowing she was his long-lost love. Oh, goodness. Maybe. Just maybe. Marinette saw a glimmer as to why she took their memories in the first place, and, just like the tea in her cup, it froze her to the bone, sweet and tart and fruity all at the same time. And just like that, Marinette knew what brewed in her heart all these years, and why she'd never let it strain out. Thank you so much for listening. Chapter 5 is on the way. In the meantime, you can check out these other videos for more fanfiction, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye! If you're still listening, comment Frozen Raspberry. Thanks. Bye! Mwah.